Yes.
But anyways, Zoe, we are shifting gears right now. We're going to be talking about one of the three causes of blindness, leading causes of blindness. And
yes. Which is something both of us, I think,
I'm okay.
don't want to be concerned too much. But I think I want to ask you, because you wear glasses, right? So are you long-sighted or are you actually short-sighted?
I'm short-sighted.
This should concern you lah.
Not really, because I think I can drive well and I can see the road signs and all that. Zoe, what about you?
Same thing. I'm also short-sightedness, but again, I'm such a rebel. I don't wear glasses. I only wear them when I need to.
Yeah.
But my astig is higher, so it actually causes have more blurred vision. But you were saying about the stats.
Yes, stats are in. One of the three leading causes of blindness, and 1.89 billion people suffer from this. And by 2050, if it's not treated well, we're going to have more than 2 billion people suffering from myopia.
2 billion?
Yep.
Oh wow, what a shocking... I'm actually quite shocked and I'm quite concerned because again, we have two experts here who are going to talk about myopia, who are going to tell us what are the causes, whether or not it's hereditary, whether or not it's something that we can fix, something we can avoid earlier on. So we have on the show, Reshaping the Future of Myopia, Dr. SANGEETHA, an ophthalmologist from Hospital Kuala Lumpur, together with Wendy Ho, the Head of Consumer Marketing and Asean e-commerce lead from Signify Malaysia. So you've actually Signify Malaysia has actually came on the show before. We spoke about a different thing. So today I'm actually very, very excited to see how can Signify actually help with this. But first we have to clarify, what does myopia mean?
So myopia is short-sightedness. So that means a patient will have difficulty looking at a distant object. So taking off from where you said about 2050 and about 2 billion people, that's about 50% of the people worldwide that will have myopia in 2050. So that's a huge number.
Yeah.
So actually, if we look at the Asian region per se, we have about 80 to 90% of our population already having myopia, which just means that every other person that you see on the street already has myopia, either not wearing glasses or wearing glasses.
Interesting. So in Malay term, myopia or short-sightedness means rabun jauh, right?
Yes, correct.
For those of our audiences who are at home, you're often confused between short-sightedness and long-sightedness. In Malay, it means rabun jauh.
Rabun jauh or rabun dekat, it's the opposite of which lah. And yes, doctor, you've mentioned the stats are in and the numbers are rising. Is it because that we don't realize that we are myopic?
Not really.
Okay.
It's because, like you were saying, there's acquired and also inherited conditions. So historically, we always thought it was only genetics at play. So they found like about 200 genes that has been related to myopia. So if you have one of these genes, there's a 10 times increase in myopia. And if you have parents with myopia, then you have about one parent with myopia will cause you about 2 times increase in myopia. And both parents with myopia will cause you to have about increased incidence of 5 times of myopia. But lately, with digitalization and all of us having a smartphone, there is a lot of environmental factors, in play now. So near work, all of us are with our computers, our tablets. So near work has increased the incidence of myopia, and screen time. There's about 3 times increase in incidence of myopia with screen time. The only protective factor nowadays that we have found is outdoor activities.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So if we have about 1 hour to 2 hours a day of outdoor activity, that reduces the incidence and progression of myopia.
Interesting. So I want to come back because you mentioned we're always on our screen. So that means that we're always facing some form of artificial light, right?
Yes.
So Ms. Wendy, I want to ask you, what do you know from your experience or from your own research, what type of, when she means artificial light, specifically what does she mean? Is it like the blue light or will affect our eyesight? Can you clarify that?
I think that's called Photobiological Safety. So like our product, for us, we have actually spent like 4.8% of our research on R&D coming up with this eye comfort understanding of consumers' eyes and how they are looking at things and stuff like that. A photobiological safety is actually an emission of blue light is actually hazardous things because like coming from the phone, coming from the monitors. So these are the things that will lead to myopia.
Right.
So therefore, as a role of a leader in lighting, our job is really to help ease out in terms of consumers' eye comfort. That's why we have a range called Eye Comfort. So that's how we wanted to come in, to be partnering experts like Dr. Sangeetha here, to understand and also to educate and bring awareness to Malaysian consumers that, myopia will eventually lead to somehow of an eye problem, like glaucoma and stuff like that. So this is how we are here in this role, why we are here today talking, with the Fresh Brew team.
All right. Okay, but I need to ask you this. With your blue light filter and stuff in your devices, does it really help?
It does reduce it, right? So in a way, we will not be able to really remove all these blue lights. Somehow, it will only prolong consumers going into more problem with their eyes, right? Every day we are with, our computers. Now with the pandemic, all of us are working from home. Kids are studying at home. So there was so much time spent on this screen of blue lights, right? And also lighting in our house are also very important, right? When we are at work, we need different lighting. When we wind down in the day, we should be using a different lights, right? So there's warm light, there's cool light to differentiate how we should be having in our house environment or even in our room, right? So imagine if you are working on a daily basis. You are working at home, right? So you need to have at least bright lights to ensure that your eyes are really adaptive to the monitor screen and TV screen and whatsoever. But as the day ends, you wanted to wind down, right? So if you have a warm light, a yellow light at your home and stuff like that, or maybe green or blue light, just to make you tune down and you have better sleep patterns. Yeah. So this is one of the way to help ease up the people that has eye problem, especially dry eyes, and also dim visions.
Yeah. I was mentioning to Brandon right before we came on, I was a little bit concerned because I feel quite sensitive eyes. They get watery very fast. And even this morning, I don't know why my eyes kind of swelled up and then it was red. So I was a bit concerned I could come on the show or whatever. What are some of these symptoms I want to know from a professional point of view, and how can somebody identify or possibly, think about, oh, maybe I have myopia. What are some of the symptoms? Because sometimes I'm like, oh, just because I cannot see far, some people think, oh, I cannot see far, no problem, just because the item is, or the place is super far, right? So they don't think about it. But what are some of the symptoms our audiences should watch out for?
Okay, so normally myopia happens at school-going children. So we see them at least even as young as 4 years old. So children, normally the symptoms are a bit subtle. So they will always have squinting. They will scrunch up their eyes to look at something, or they'll go very close to the TV to look at the images on the TV. Sometimes if it's school-going children, a bit bigger, they will be complaining that they can't see the whiteboard, or they'll have headaches. For adults, normally the symptoms are very clear. The vision is blur, and also with computers and all, you have digital eye strain, so you tend to have headaches as well.
Wow.
Yes. So about myopia and why, there's so much concern about myopia, why we are talking about it. I mean, with glasses and contact lenses, shouldn't it correct it already? So there's a subset of myopia, which is called high myopes, which is about patients with about 600 or 500 power. Then they tend to have a lot of complications like cataract, glaucoma, and when the eyeball elongates, you can have tears in the retina that can cause retinal detachment. So these are about 30 to 40% of our population. So that's a huge burden for us economically as well as socially. So that's why you address myopia.
Okay. But I don't know. When I started wearing specs, it's because I just couldn't see far, right? But I don't sit too close to the TV because every single time my mom will pop up and say, "Don't sit too close, Don't sit so close, but we don't have phones back then in the day. And I'm still, I ended up with this spectacle. But could myopia be caused from reading a lot also as well, or is it just lights and TV or screen time?
Okay, so before the advent of, all the smartphones and everything, we've already seen a rise in myopia actually, especially in the Asian region. Because of the way our education is, we have such a huge burden on education and the pressure on our children. Near work is a mandatory thing. Outdoor activity is not so important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So near work actually has been proven to cause myopia. Yes.
Ooh, that's so
okay.
scary. That is of course, an urban legend or things, people always say you should eat carrots, to improve your eyesight. Is that true? Now in 2021, are things like that, myths like that, are they true, or does it help? Is there a way, besides, things like treatment like LASIK, surgery, besides those, how can we actually improve our eyesight a bit more, or will it still deteriorate as we age?
Yeah, I just want to add what Zoe just said, carrots. And apparently there are some eye exercises that you could do in the morning. Apparently, the first thing you do
your eyes,
is
you circle around your eyes.
circles and stuff and look at green stuff. Is it true?
Okay, it's good to see green stuff,
Okay.
but nothing has been proven scientifically. So about carrots, vitamin A, they're good for the eyes, but not so much for myopia. Myopia, normally we always advocate the 20-20-20 rule. That means after 20 minutes of near work, you take about 20 seconds break and look at a far distant object of about 20 feet away.
Okay.
So that's supposed to reduce your digital eye strain.
Okay.
That is the one that's really common nowadays. As well as when you tend to not blink so much when you're looking at the computer screen.
Right.
We forget to blink.
So hyper-focused, right?
Exactly, yes. And the next thing is on lighting, like what Wendy was saying. Blue light from our computers and our tablets can actually damage our retina and our macula, which is for central vision. So if we are bringing in our phones into our beds, which I'm also guilty of, so that should be avoided.
Yeah.
So all this artificial lighting will always disrupt our circadian rhythm. So our sleep gets disrupted, our eating pattern gets disrupted. Some people can have high blood pressure, some people can go into depression. Yes.
So Zoe, no more TikTok videos before you fall asleep, okay?
Yeah. Thankfully, I've kind of reduced that habit a little bit. So speaking of light and how to choose a light, there are plenty different types of light, and especially, since you brought up TikTok, people have used the RGB lights, they're using all sort of tools and devices to make their videos cooler. Even gamers, they have sort of like gamer glasses that you use to reduce the blue light and all that.
Yeah.
So in terms of choosing the light and choosing a device or lighting to help our environment, how does one choose the light, and what are the things we should consider before just simply buying the RGB light on your e-commerce apps?
Yeah, right. So I think it's a very valid question. Because now I think lights are so common. Everyone needs lights at home, right? So from kids to adults like us, right? So selecting a right lights is important. Therefore, like us, we come up with a range of LED that has eye comfort. First thing, we will suggest consumers to adopt LED lighting because it's much more energy saving, definitely. And the next thing is that our eye comfort range really went through a study where we did a research, just now I mentioned, a 4.8% of investment was put into R&D to come up with this parameter of eye comfort that define that, there's a few 6 items that we have to look into. Flicker and strobe. There's another thing is tunability, and also ensuring that reducing of glare, and also dimmable. So these are the factors that we are incorporating into our product, and our product are being designed in a way it has this imprinted interlaced optics that help to disperse this light more evenly.
Okay.
So there will have a better light distribution.
Right.
So when the consumers look at the light bulbs or the light environment, right, you feel not that kind of poking pain in your eyes. So this is very important where people are having dry eyes. So they can't go in an environment where you have very hard, bright lights and stuff like that. So consumers has very different lifestyle now, right? We spend our time on TV, on computers, and most importantly is on the handphone, right? So phone lights are very bright, blue lights, yeah? So we need to be in an environment to make sure that we have this lighting around us, but it's not those glaring lights like in the studio now, I see that's really glaring in our eyes, right? So our products are being developed using eye comfort parameters to ensure that, consumers will have ease when they're looking at the lights. Yeah?
Right.
So when you're in the environment, you feel much more comfortable rather than when I come into a blaring and a glaring place. Yeah.
Sorry, Zoe.
No, go ahead.
The thing about light is that sometimes you get used to it, but you just don't realize that it's actually straining your eyes until something happens. So is there a way to identify, realize like, okay, the light's too bright, so I need to move somewhere brighter, or just put your phones or devices aside? Is there a way besides your headache, or maybe you feeling giddy or any of that sorts?
I think as a person, yourself, right? When you look at the lights, you will understand whether it's glaring enough for us. Yeah, every individual eyesights are different, right?
Yeah.
So certain eyes are really very sensitive to lights, so they will immediately move away when they see a certain bright lights. Yeah, for example, like the dry eyes people, right? But for younger boys or girls, right, they tend to be much more excited when they look at brighter lights. Yeah.
Right.
So this is where I think the parents need to do their parts as well to actually ensure the environment or the room that they are studying and stuff like that to have the right lighting environment, right? So therefore, we also have products that has come up with dimmable lights. So you could also switch between yellow color and also white color.
Yeah.
So rather than, you have to install so many different light bulbs.
Yeah.
So we have this range called Scene Switch. You can switch between a white light and a yellow light. And also we have introduced a new range of Wiz product that is so intelligent. It's a smart lighting that you can tune from different colors, 60 million colors, and also to adjust the lighting environment in a room.
There's a lot of colors,
Yeah.
and we will definitely find out more. Thank you so much, Wendy, for being here, and also Dr. Sangeetha.
Unfortunately, we have ran out of time. We would love to talk a little bit more about, lighting, because again, especially for us, we work in production, so lighting is a big part of our job.
Look at that.
But again, if you guys want to find out more, you guys can contact them. You guys can also head on over to Signify as well to check out all the products that they mentioned just now.